Alright, you magnificent bastards. This video's not new, it's not old, it's resuscitated, like some lore zombie crawling out the archives, because a while ago, ULTRAMAR Lore did a series of absolute banger deep dive videos, so insane that they'd melt your brain, but then she just kind of vanished, like a Primarch at a family dinner. So being the greasy, opportunistic little Scotsman I am, I'm dragging this bastard of a topic back into the limelight. We're asking the question no sane bastard should. Could the Yuuzhan Vong invade the 40k galaxy? Now, I can already hear you moaning in the comments, like an orc denied a good scrap. Come on, there's no way the Vong can deal any real damage. Sit down and shut your face. Let me explain. This will be a wild ride, and trust me, you're gonna want to see how this plays out. Now, let's dive in. Imagine if the Tyranids and the Celobites from Hellraiser had a bastard love child, born, screaming, covered in knives, and raised on a diet of pain and war inside a living ship. That, my beautiful viewers, is the Yuuzhan Vong. These bastards are from another galaxy entirely, a place they absolutely fucking annihilated. Mind you, not because they had to, but because they just couldn't stop fighting. That's their whole deal. Endless war, endless religious fervor, and an unbreakable belief that suffering is holy. Their entire existence is dedicated to pain, mutilation, and conquering in the name of their gods, the so-called true way. Now, what really sets the Yuuzhan Vong, besides being aggressive space zealots with a hatred for comfort, is their unrelenting rejection of traditional technology. They hate machines, blasters, droids, computers, all that soulless artificial crap. It's heresy to them. Instead, they use biotechnology, living, breathing, screaming tools of war. Their rifles are called anthostaphs, serpent creatures that can stiffen into blades or spit acid and plasma. They're not just weapons, they're pets. If your bolter grew fangs and got snaky, that's an anthostaff. Their ships are massive sentient organisms. World ships are grown over generations, capable of healing wounds, birthing fighters, and capable of weeping blood if it's sufficiently annoyed. Their armor, it's alive too. A thing called Vondu crab armor. Exoskeleton creatures bred to be bulletproof and cling to their masters like the world's most aggressive barnacle. Even their spacesuits breathe, adjust to wounds, and scream when you die. Every part of their society is biological, ritualistic, and grotesque. It's not just war. It's a fucking art to them. Beautiful, screaming, living art. Now their society is built on castes. Real old school, hierarchical misery. The warrior caste. Meatheads trained from birth to kill. Covered in scars, tattoos, and in some cases, extra limbs. They live for battle and see pain as a blessing. The Shapers. Biotech wizards who manipulate living matter like a fucking sculptor. They're the ones who grow ships, forge weapons from coral, and build space frame monstrosities out of biomass and prayer. The priest castes, ritualistic zealots who enforce obedience to the gods. They whip up entire crusades, perform bloody rituals, and are basically what you get if the Spanish Inquisition had access to gene-altering sea slugs. The intendants, the admin lads, the economists, supply chain managers, and black market smugglers. They keep the war machine running while stabbing each other in the back every other Tuesday. And at the top of it, the Supreme Overlord, the Pope Emperor of the whole rotten mess. Half God King, half fascist HR department with a tentacle fetish. The current one, Shimra Jameson, a paranoid lunatic who's probably more dangerous to his own people than the enemy. And then there's the kicker. They're invisible to the Force. No, seriously, Jedi look at them and it's like staring into a fucking black hole. They don't show up. They can't be mind tricked. They can't be force pushed. They might as well be made up of spite and bad dreams. That little trick threw the Jedi Order into panic back in the Legends timeline. Now imagine that same effect in a galaxy ruled by psychers and demons. Now, let's talk about 40k, the galaxy where dreams go to die and then get turned into a servitor. Here, every square inch of the galaxy is trying to kill you. Chaos gods corrupt your soul. Necrons want to harvest you. The orcs want to football tackle your entire planet, and the Imperium thinks flushing your planet down the warp toilet is just good Tuesday diplomacy. It's a galaxy powered by Grimdark, bad decisions, and high gothic bullshit. And into this swirling mosh pit of cosmic horror stumbles the Yuuzhan Vong. Now, let's talk about how these bio-loving, machine-hating, force-blind lunatics end up in 40k. In the original Star Wars Legends timeline, the Yuuzhan Vong spent centuries slowly drifting towards the Star Wars galaxy. In these world ships, massive biomechanical arcs, each the size of a fucking moon, carrying entire populations in hibernation or ritual agony, depending on the cast. But in our little fan scenario, something goes sideways. Maybe one of the shapers rips a hole into space-time trying to grow a faster and light amoeba engine. Maybe a warp storm coughs and reality burps them out into a new galaxy. Or maybe the Vong find the warp and go, "This is disgusting." Then cut through it with brute force biotech that carves a screaming corridor through unreality. Either way, they don't show up in Star Wars. They appear somewhere on the edge of the eastern fringe of the 40k galaxy, just outside of Tal space. Not in it. Not yet. Their arrival is quiet. Too quiet. A few rogue explorers and fringe colonies go dark. No warp signal, no distress call. Just gone. At first, the Imperium does nothing. They never do. The Mechanicus ignores the anomalies. The Elder maybe raise an eyebrow. The Tal, however, they start noticing something weird. Their long-range scanners pick up a massive organic anomaly, a gravitational signal that moves like a ship but reads like a fucking moon made of meat. They name it Object 13 or something sterile. Their diplomats prepare an envoy. After all, the Tal are big on unity and peace and all that jazz. So they send a little delegation, a few fire warriors, some earth cast nerds, a water cast representative, carrying a datapad, a firm handshake, and a speech about the greater good. That envoy never returns. Not because they were killed instantly. Oh no. They were captured, modified, and used. When the survivors are found weeks later, they're barely recognizable. Organic plates fused to their bodies, voices whispering in an alien tongue, their eyes hollow, their minds shaped. This isn't just an attack, it's a holy war. And then, the Vong begin testing the Tal's defenses. Small-scale raids on outposts, biological plagues released from orbit, terraforming creatures dropped onto a planet to prepare it for Vong colonization, massive writhing horrors that turn entire biospheres into flesh factories. Coral creeps across cities, creatures tunnel beneath foundations, emerging to devour everything not blessed by Vong dogma. The Tal try to respond. The Firecast rally, drones are deployed, and crisis suits engage with extreme precision. And they put up a good fight. Not enough to win, but not an instant slaughter either. Tal plasma burns through Von Du crab armor. Railguns punch a hole in world ship tendrils. For a brief moment, it seems like the Tal might hold. But then the Shapers adapt. the armor shifts, the weapons evolve, and Falstaffs grow resistant to energy fire. Vong warriors start targeting drone control hubs with terrifying precision, and the Vong begin converting Tal biomatter into new weapons. The tide turns, and a dozen border worlds fall. The Ethereals issue a massive evacuation. The greater good becomes the greater retreat. The Vong don't wipe out the Tal entirely, but they break them, crippling their border regions, pushing them back into the core worlds, turning their outer colonies into shrines to their gods. One such shrine is built from the corpses of millions of Tal, frozen in lattice of coral and bone. And as the Vong solidify their foothold in the strange new galaxy, they look deeper. They feel the wrongness of the warp. They see the taint of chaos, and they want to cleanse it all. With the Tal all but crumbling, the Vong don't just sit around singing hymns to their gods made of pain. No, they spread, they grow, they corrupt everything they touch, like a cancer that worships itself. Who's next? Every poor bastard unlucky enough to share a sector. First up, the orcs, because of course they show up. Some dormant orc worlds on the edge of Tal space get poked awake by all of the screaming and weird ass biomass lighting up the system. Before long, a Wah fleet is drifting in, drawn by the siren songs of a good scrap. At first, they bloody love it. Living ships, weird squishy guns, foes that actually fight back hard. Boys, it's fighting time. They charge into battle in a kaleidoscope of Daka and teeth. The galaxy holds its breath until the orcs start changing. Some spores begin growing sideways. Weird bulges form on mech boys' brains. Whole warbands vanish mid-wah! Remerging days later, covered in pusses of coral and screaming hymns in a strange new tongue. The Vong don't just fight, they convert. And the orcs, for once, don't like that. There's no fun in fighting an enemy that tries to become you. One war boss, covered in fleshy vines, shrieks, "Da, too many guts in my gun," before blowing himself up. The Wah collapses into infighting and retreats. Every orc mutters, "Oi, that weren't proper." Next up, the galaxy's grumpiest, pettiest, most horrifying efficient metal bastards. A Yuuzhan Vong warship, bloated and arrogant, drifts too close to a tomb world. Just another speck in the slow burning crusade. The Vong don't even realize what they've done. The moment the cursed flesh reef crosses a forbidden star's orbit, a Necron world engine activates. A single ping echoes through the black. A tomb world wakes up. Instantly. No warning, no negotiation, no drama. Just green lights of death. The world ship is atomized before the crew can even scream. A lance of reality rendering Gaussfire slices through it like divine judgment. Every Vong cell in its path is unmade, down to the quark. The Vong bioshields ignored. The Vong gods irrelevant. Their prayers unheard because the Necrons don't wage war. They conduct cleansing operations. Thousands of night scythe interceptors pour out of the tomb, phasing through space like silent reapers. They don't fight, they harvest. Anything organic gets turned into radioactive ash, or dimensionally shunted into a black hole. Even Vong living tech can't comprehend what is happening. Their war mind screams in confusion as command links collapse. Their gods of pain go silent. A Catan shard, curious, manifests. It tastes the Vong's psychic void and laughs. These things think they're divine. It whispers, before wiping out 5 worlds with a fucking thought. The entire Vong fleet in the sector is erased in under 17 minutes. No survivors, no escape. Just a dead zone, and a simple eternal message broadcasted into the void. Intruders logged, organic organisms cleansed. resume dormancy. From that day on, the Vong don't go near Necron space again. Not because they fear the Necrons, because they understand there's nothing left to fear. The Vong, curious bastards that they are, eventually stumble across a squat mining world nestled deep in a forgotten belt. They descend, expecting a soft target, maybe a few miners and rocks. What they get is hell in a helmet. The squats are not having it. Magma cannons light up. Void armor divisions roll in. A Brotherhood shield wall holds firm. A Vong scout descends into a tunnel. 3 hours later, the squats deploy him as a furnace brick. The Vong back off. Lesson learned. Don't fuck with space dwarfs in their element. Ah yes, the space elves. At first, they don't panic. These Monkai are always screaming about new threats. What's one more? But then, the Farseers look, and they don't see anything. That's the problem. The Yuuzhan Vong aren't in the warp. They don't have psychic echoes. Their silence is so loud, it gives you migraines. The Craftworld Eldar start getting uncomfortable. Visions become static. Seers start muttering about the blind gods. So the Eldar test them. They volunteer a colony ship, the size of a small continent, an unarmed old world vessel carrying refugees and rare spirit stones. The Vong fall for the bait and attack, and get absolutely fucking wrecked. And then the Yuuzhan Vong make their biggest mistake yet. They head towards Ultramar, reboot Guilliman's favourite slice of the galaxy, home of the Codex, big blue armor boys with big books and even bigger guns. At first, it's a random probe, just one world ship scouting from the rim. But the Ultramarines know invasion when they smell it. They deploy quickly. And what follows is a fucking horror show. The Vong are smarter than the Tyranids, more tactical, more malicious. They don't just eat planets, they fucking mock them. Cities are reshaped into flesh hives with eyes on the walls. Civilian populations vanish, only to return as weaponized meat things with teeth where there really shouldn't be any. A single Vong gravity monstrosity drags a moon out of orbit and smashes into a hive world near Macragge. The shockwave kills billions. Psychers go insane trying to read them. Warp charts turn black. Navigators gouge their own eyes out because the stars are screaming. Guilliman is pissed. The Codex Astartes has no protocol for screaming planet ships filled with alien priests. He launches the second through thick companies. The Vong lose ground, but not entirely. Because remember, they adapt. The moment they encounter Astarte weapons, their armor begins changing, evolving. That bolt around that used to punch a hole through the torso, now just really pisses them off. And worst of all, the Vong still can't be seen in the warp. No reinforcement predictions, no demonic interference, not even the Chaos Gods understand what the hell is happening. One demon of Zinch touches a Vong ship and explodes into lotus petals and bloodworms. Oh, Chaos hates this. Slaanesh sends in her prettiest demons, hoping to tempt the pain-obsessed Vong. But the Vong don't want pleasure, they want transcendence through agony. They crucify the demons, literally, on bile lattices of nerve flesh. They build temples from their remains. Khorne tries to fight fire with fire, sending in blood crusades. The Vong answer with pure fury. Even the Tyranids eventually sniff the madness out. Hive Fleet Leviathan descends into Vong space. The result is unclear. What do you even call a war between two species that use the term digestive horror as a tactic? It's not even a war, it's a biological apocalypse. So, could the Yuuzhan Vong invade the 40k galaxy? Aye. Would they cause absolute carnage? Double aye. Would they win? That's where things get tricky, because 40k ain't like Star Wars. The Vong would make a dent, a nasty, fleshy, screaming dent, but eventually the galaxy would do what it does best. Grind them down in fire, plasma, and a few heretical nukes. Still, the 40k galaxy would never be the same. So there ya have it, ya mad bastards. So let me know in the comments who would win in a 1v1. A Vong Warmaster or a Hive Tyrant on bath salts. If you've enjoyed this fleshy mess, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that fucking bell harder than an orc kicking a grot. We're climbing to 500 subscribers, and when we hit it, you'll get a special surprise, probably involving more screaming than usual. But remember, don't trust anything that looks like it might be alive. Have a killing day, ya bloody legends, and I'll see ya in the next one.